The cheapest V8 that you can buy is £55,000. But what if you had 10% of that budget?
So we set out to buy a V8 each, and the rules are simple. It cannot be a BMW, and it has to have more power than the Mustang.
I bought this incredibly rare supercharged E55 AMG wagon for just £4,000.
And I bought this 500 horsepower supercharged Jaguar XFR for £6,500.
These are the most powerful cars we've ever bought on this channel. Today we're going to take them for a drive, discover what condition they're both in, and then we're going to power test both of them, which will reveal some pretty shocking results. Here it is, my incredibly rare E55 AMG wagon. But not only that, I've ticked all of the boxes. It's not a BMW. It was £4,000, so less than 10%, and 470 horsepower from factory versus the Mustang's paltry 440. Weak. And it's a wagon. They are so rare. I was stood just over there a couple of months ago when I said that my C55 was the cheapest AMG in the country. No, this is the cheapest V8 AMG in the country.
Keep finding the cheapest ones.
But there's a reason for that. It's really not good.
Wow.
Here we have the Mercedes M113K. That's a big old honking supercharger on the top there going, actually not really, but soon it might do.
We're built by Walton
Goggins?
Goggins built this car.
How did he find time to do that?
It does look a little bit rough around the edges, even just under here.
That's it's because it's a low mileage example. It's 200,000, which is quite low.
I had a 2. I'm assuming that's not 20,000 miles.
20,000.
20.
Oh, sorry, 220,000.
Okay, great. That's quite a lot of miles.
It's got quite a lot of miles. There are some issues that go along with it. Inside, this Mercedes was just as comfortable as the day it rolled off the production line.
Ooh, I'm a large chap, and these seats, these were built to drive along in your big old bus.
Absolutely wonderful. James Bond should have driven one of these cars. Do you know why? Do you know about this? Do you know what I'm about to show you?
I don't.
Ben, come in. How cool is that?
Wow!
That's for your CD changer. And then the American ones, this screen folded down behind, and then you take their cassettes and things.
Useless right now, but also quite cool.
Remember this, £4,000 car. Massage seats. Obviously all of your cruise, all of the stuff you'd expect. But inside there's one last party piece, because this is the wagon, not the saloon. Lo and behold, the wagon, rear-facing seats.
You've got a 7-seater.
I have a 7-seater. I'm going to take the camera, both of you.
Oh, it's snug.
Oh yeah, no, you're maybe a bit too big for it.
Neither of us are small. Oh, well, that's curious.
Good.
Hold on, hang on, I'm not wetting.
Everyone ready to go to school?
Yep. Can we do a massive launch, Dad?
Yep.
Sorry.
Feet, if you could, please.
Sorry.
The battery is dead, so this might lock.
That's an alarming noise.
That's not a great noise to hear.
Sorry. And then getting out.
Oh, no worries.
That's just nice. You know what? I see this as a very comfortable dog bed.
Oh, right. Paint me like one of your French girls.
Oh, that really did actually quite hurt.
If I was 10 years old and my dad had one of these, I'd be the coolest person in the world.
Oh yeah. I'm in the back going. My dad had one of these, a very, very cheap one, many moons ago. And it's the only car he won't talk about because of electrical problems. Anything wrong with this one, or?
We'll get to the electrical problems later, maybe. But what we do have over on the side is nachos and dip for arches.
Oh, that's nice.
Those are nice. This door's nice. Ben, if you'd like to jump in.
Sure.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Let me get it from you on the inside.
Oh.
So this is the kidnap door. No one is allowed in or out. If you know E55s, you'll know that it's on air suspension all round, very advanced for the time. It works. Ish.
It's very low. I want to hear it, at least. These are V8s.
You'd like to hear it.
I mean, the Mustang probably sounds good, but we can't afford that. So can we hear this one?
Yeah. Well, we can try.
You arrived maybe 5 minutes ago.
Huh? Yeah. I did drive it here.
And the battery's died.
The battery's dead. But I've got a new battery in the boot, so I'll swap that over in a second.
Drain that one in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Would you like to see my car?
I'd like to see your car a lot.
My 2.2 diesel Jaguar XF.
The base model.
No, as you can tell by my vents that say supercharged in them, there's a lot of supercharged written on this car, and I like it.
How many litres do you have?
5 litre and 500 horsepower, £6,500.
Okay, hold on. My maths isn't that great, but in theory, that's more than 10%?
Yes, because you were looking at the normal 5 litre Mustang, which is 55 grand or
Yeah.
something. I was looking at the 500 horsepower Dark Horse. That's £67,000. So I'm within my budget for a Mustang.
Okay.
Just not the cheapest Mustang.
If I had have known that, I probably would have compared mine to a Veyron and bought a £100,000 car.
I'm the same power as that Mustang for less than 10% of the price.
I will also say, the Merc is an old car. This looks new. I remember watching Top Gear episodes of this. This is recent.
141,000 miles, 15 years old. Yeah, it's okay.
Now this, what is it that I know about these?
Jaguars.
Oh, that's it. That they go wrong a lot?
They do go wrong, but from what I can tell, these are okay.
Any issues on it?
No.
So this is the engine that you find in basically anything Jaguar Land Rover 5 litre supercharged, right?
So up until recently, they were still using that in the Range Rovers, Defenders. Not exactly the same. This is like the earliest iteration of the 5 litre supercharged V8. These do have quite a heavy problem with timing chains. Someone has put some aftermarket filters in.
Any other modifications?
And an exhaust.
Oh. Oh,
£6,500. It's a 5 litre, 500 horsepower Jag.
oh, this is comfy. This is the last of Jaguars being cool.
I think they've aged quite well.
I think this is cool.
I've got a heated steering wheel, heated and cooled seats. I've got adaptive cruise control, keyless entry, keyless go.
There are a lot of potential sadness, but for the brief moment it works,
It's going to be amazing.
this is going to be great. Right, can I have a jump start and then we'll go for a drive?
I can't do that. Now, before we take these cars on a proper drive on the road, we wanted to talk about something that might affect you if you're a man like us.
Now, if you're struggling with low energy, you're struggling to concentrate, or you're sleeping poorly, you might have low testosterone. And 90% of the people that do have it don't even know.
It can cause a load of issues like low energy, weight gain, you might be struggling to make progress in the gym, and even some problems down there.
This week's sponsor, Manual, makes it easy to check your levels at home with no doctor visit required. Just a quick finger prick test.
Send it off and you'll find out in days if you're among one of the 1 in 4 men with low testosterone over 30. Your results are then reviewed by a doctor and then you'll get expert guidance on how to increase your levels.
Checking your testosterone is cheap and takes nearly no effort, but it could change everything for you. You can get 45% off of your next blood test if you use code TOP45 at your checkout on the link in the description, or you can click the QR code up here and scan that. Now, let's get back to the cars.
Having taken a basic look at both cars, Edwin quickly installed a new battery in the E55. And then we hit the road together for the first time with both cars.
Upon the first drive, there's already issues. I've replaced my battery, so now that all of the dodgy electronic issues have cleared the dash, I'm still left with one, and that is for the Airmatic, the air suspension system that raises and lowers this car. To replace those struts are thousands upon thousands of pounds. Now you might be saying that this is a £4,000 E55, what would I expect? But in reality, he had it inspected and it passed 3 days before I bought the car. So what's the story there?
Now, if you've been a regular viewer of the channel, you will have noticed that our last series was 90s hot hatches. We have gone quite opposite this time. We've gone for big luxury barges with a load of power. I like it. If we could do more of this, this would be great.
Those of you with a keen ear might be able to hear the fact that this car doesn't sound that healthy. That's because it has a catastrophic blow. You could say it sounds kind of good if you like Chevy 350s that make 180 horsepower, but in reality, this needs some headers, which isn't a bad thing. Maybe we get some upgrades on there.
Some of you will have known the XFR when it first came out for being featured on Top Gear. They did a car chase with Ray Winston and Plan B. And one of the jokes in there is that you had to hold down the traction control button for 10 seconds.
Turn off the traction control. You have to hold it down for 10 seconds.
Surely it's not 10 seconds. Right, I'm holding down it now. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Still nothing. Still holding, and there it is. The traction control is now off. Hold down the traction control button for 10 seconds. That won't get old. I like that.
Whether you're a fan of these old E-classes or not, there's one important reason why, to me at least, they carry some large significance. This car is the reason that Americans are doing takeovers in the street, because this is genesis of Hellcat. The Hellcat that you know and love, the Challenger in America, was based on the Chrysler 300 platform. Guess what the Chrysler 300 was based on? The W211 Mercedes E-Class, fitted with a 5.5 litre supercharged engine. You can keep your Hellcat because this is where it started. This guy right here. And it still holds up today. This thing is quick. That's not quick for an old car. That's just quick, full stop. 220k on the clock and it pulls like that. This thing's cool.
Whoa, that is. Now, I have never, ever been interested in a Jag. Of course, E-Type, stuff like that, I think they're stunning cars. But that sort of 90s, early 2000s Jags, they never really did it for me. They still have that whiff of old man about them. And I thought very similar about these XFRs. This is basically the cheapest way into getting one of these engines. That is what tempted me. And now, seeing this car up close, I kind of understand it.
So what does £6,500 worth of Jaguar XFR feel like?
I don't think there is a faster car in this money.
500 horsepower for 6.5 grand is absolutely ridiculous.
And the Merc, does he feel all of his 470 horses?
I think he feels all of his 470 horsepower. It's lost a bit of refinement over 220,000 miles.
Never mind refinement and reliability and mileage, anything like that. How's the supercharger noise in there?
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed, and I think what we're going to need is some supercharger pulley upgrades, because this thing better sound like a Hellcat by the time we're done.
Yeah, I think the same. I get a tiny little whine at high RPM, but that's it. I need this thing to be going...
Whether it's the supercharger or not, both of these cars are going to be making horrible noises at the end of it.
Our previous series was 90s hot hatches. We have kind of gone the complete opposite end of the spectrum here.
It kind of feels like going on holiday after just a long shift at work.
But in the case of both of these cars, we are on a beach and it is sunny, but it is right next to a war zone, so there's always a possibility.
Yeah, there's a storm coming, and I can already see it in the Merc.
With both of us loving our V8s, we got them back to the unit for a closer inspection.
Right, Jag is on the left. So we've just pulled it up to this height for now. Look, I don't worry about rust on things you can remove.
That is a fair point. Sorry, there's a parking sensor here. How have you hit that there? Yeah, mate, just keep going until you go through the parking sensor. It'll be good. No idea the name of the brand. But if I'm buying a Jaguar from a company called Westwell Jones Limited, I trust you. Westwell Jones Limited.
The car's retained all of its chrome thus far.
The car is shod in chrome.
The car, laced in chrome, retains its gentlemanly specification as standard. Here we have my only mod, apart from the air filters, but
Pipes.
This is the only real mod. Pipe!
No email, though.
No email yet.
I did drive behind you on the way home for picking this car up. I did notice this going around roundabouts. This guy right here, that is the largest cable tie on Earth.
And we soon found out why it was there.
Okay, so that is that's the mount for the exhaust, right?
Oh, that's tough to see. It's quite dirty. I think, to quote Too Fast, Too Furious, they're dirty, clean but dirty.
But look at this. This is a sign. Look at this.
Nice.
You see that?
He said, when you were buying it from Ray, it was on a full matching set. He got a puncture in the front one,
Yep.
so replaced it with Continentals.
Goodyear's on the front.
With Goodyears, because he couldn't get Michelin's, but still good tyre. That's a good sign.
Bear in mind, this is a 500 horsepower rear-wheel drive car. I think I might put some Charmhoos on there.
Ooh, or some Jinlings.
Or the Linglongs, actually.
Linglongs
The
are
Linglongs
good.
are a good
Those are
tyre,
good.
especially in this sort of size, you know, a 285, 20-inch tyre.
A brand you can trust.
Yeah, I think I could feel safe knowing that these are good tyres.
Even though these cars were only a few £1,000s, they are still £80,000 cars at the end of the day.
I think these were about 70k new. So you're probably looking at, in today's money, about 100 grand.
The maintenance, that doesn't go down.
The brakes have depreciated.
Yeah.
Also, you spotted this earlier, supercharged.
Yeah, my wheel is supercharged. I must just let everyone know on the road. By the way, got the supercharged Jag. My Jag, yeah? Yeah, supercharged.
You've got the Jaguar, mine is supercharged. The supercharged Jag is donned with the supercharger.
They didn't want you to forget.
Yeah, do you know this is supercharged?
Do you do a pull? Where's this thing? What's in here?
I thought I bought the diesel.
Usually when we're on the outside of a car, there's more to talk about. This is just kind of
okay.
Kind of works. Do you have any play in your wheel bearings or anything?
Should we wobble this one?
Should we give him
Just
a
for the
wobble?
guys? He's stiffer than I've ever been. That's obviously steering.
With the Jag's exterior looking pretty good, we took a look underneath, which got off to a really good start.
Ooh, that is a Powerflex bush. So if you don't know, Powerflex is like an aftermarket brand. It's normally sportier, a little bit stiffer than your average one. That's a good sign, because obviously on an older, big Jag like this, bushes don't tend to last so long. Now we do have the, just surface.
Just a little bit of crispiness.
What I'm going to call the appetizer.
Perhaps he's been in the air fryer just a moment too long.
This is where perhaps the Jaguar XFR becomes more of a Jaguar, and he does get a little bit rusty.
You've got quite a blow coming from there.
Oh, I can just get the tip in there.
That's
I shouldn't be able to do, so I'm going to have to fix that somewhere.
Yeah. Shelby Reed, mate.
Scabby, but solid.
You know what? We've seen worse.
It's a sort of supercharger pulley should fix that.
Couple cans of underseal. Where we go?
20 quid to the MOT tester.
So we've got the zip tie here holding the bushing to the car. What we've also got, which I quite like, is this. That might get rid of a good bit of rattle if you got rid of that. Overall though, for $6.5 grand, I think you've made off pretty well here.
It's not bad.
I think that's pretty good. I don't think we're going to say the same thing for the motor. So we pulled the E55 into the unit, and from the get-go, it wasn't as good as the Jag. First thing, talking about the plates on the back of your car, meanwhile, you noticed on this, Halfords. Water on the inside.
Oh, is it in the inside?
That water's on the inside, I can't get rid of that. He's battered, he's bruised, he's scarred. That's what he's about, 220,000 miles. This is something interesting. What I'll do is I'll put a photo on the screen right now of the advert that I saw to go and look at this car. When I turned up to look at the car was just on different wheels with different tyres. And I said, what happened to those? And he went, oh yeah, I took them off.
What's this?
The seller said that a rock flicked up and did that.
A rock? Was it the rock?
Or the whole country of Iraq? No rock is jumping off the road and doing that. Perhaps you'd like to feel with your hand the lip on that brake disc?
That's nice. I'd say that's
2 mil.
It's had fillers and extensions.
Yeah.
Someone has changed the pads and then never changed the discs as well.
Yep.
That's nice.
The English, supercharged everywhere, all over the Jag. Meanwhile, that's the compressor. It's on the side. This is where it gets tough. This car, I was told by the previous owner, spent most of its first 20 years in Scotland.
Rainy, moist, miserable, grey, salty.
Look, don't describe the car like that.
When they changed from these tailpipes, everything started to go downhill.
Yeah,
the best AMGs have these
these oval guys. The square guys, no. You can run C63 of the W204 generation, the C63, for some increased noise. Long tube headers and those exhausts with an X-pipe. We've got the, the lovely rust graduation to the silver, really contemporary these days. Should we put him up in the air and have a look under him?
Take a gander, why don't we?
The underside, not as crusty as you'd expect. For looking at the arches, you'd expect a lot more. Also, classic Mercedes, spin one forward, the other one spins backwards. No LSD. It's got this weird, kind of crossover bit here. If you cut this out and swap it with an X-pipe with some headers, which we'll get onto in a minute, he has a really nice sound. I forget whereabouts he is, but we have a horrible exhaust leak. While doing some research, I found a post on the forum that the previous owner had made about this car saying, oh, my cat's blowing. Does anybody have any suggestions? And someone just suggested, cut it out, which I believe was done, but it's blowing again. We then discovered something really not great.
That's a lot of oil.
Hope wants to tell me it's just the rocker cover, because they get really bad rocker cover leaks. That side is perfectly dry. This side is a little bit wet. I think in reality, I informed myself of the fact it's a rear main seal, which I'm not doing. The other thing that I found was quite interesting is the previous owner told me there's a knock from the front. We've put it up on a lift and we cannot find it, no matter what. No matter what we do, we can't find it. Found it. If you'd like to look up here as well, there's just...
New oil leak just dropped. That is something you'd find in a sort of an oil spill somewhere.
Yeah,
that's an albatross.
Yeah, there's a dead seagull in there.
That BP did. Crazy.
This car is perilously close to being too far gone, money and time-wise. If there's a chance we can save it, I'll put the time in.
But again, part of this challenge is these cars need to make more power than the Mustang.
Yeah.
On paper, they both do, but I think we should find out with a little bit of science. We are here at Horsham Developments. Again, this is our go-to dyno. So the Jag should make about 500 horsepower.
So you're saying should? You're teeing up the excuses already.
Now my bum dyno reads 485, 490.
Oh, mine was saying 482. I've recently had a calibration on my ass.
I'm hoping nearer 500, the better.
So with that, it was time to see how much power this old Jag was pushing, and the results left us completely shocked.
Today, this could be our most powerful car on the channel ever.
Oh, that's true. Go on, Jag. Give her one for me.
Sorry!
580. No.
Sorry!
No. Hold on.
Can we just take a moment?
Hold on.
580
Hold on.
horsepower.
Hold on. Let's calm down. Let's all calm down. What?
£6,500. 584 horsepower.
I think we need recalibration on our anuses. Our bum dynos are way out.
Yeah, I need that looking at.
I could tell it was over 500 because it's trying to climb out the dyno as soon as I put my foot down on it.
584 horsepower.
Yeah. Fueling's really good as well, so you've got nothing to worry about.
I like the Merc, but you've got the best deal of all time. Sorry, 580 horsepower for £6,500.
However, the Jag's surprisingly high power figure had taken a slight toll.
What have we got here, Will?
Do you know what that is?
What is it?
It's power.
He's either from the exhaust, and it's nothing to worry about, or it's from the diff, and it's a lot to worry about. But either way, we don't care, because it made 580 horsepower. So on that note, it was time to find out just how much power the world's cheapest AMG was making. So it is the turn of the 7-seater barge, the 220,000 mile E55. These come standard with about 470 horsepower. I'm hoping for 450.
Cars lose power over time,
Yeah.
and that's quite a lot of miles.
Yeah, and it's not been cared for. So 450 I'd be very happy with.
Unfortunately, the E55 was quite unhappy about being on the dyno, and despite being in the right mode for the run, it refused to rev past 5,000 RPM, potentially limiting its final power figure.
Unsure of why it was upset, we simply had to accept it and go for one full run to see what this tired old AMG could make.
Oh!
484 horsepower.
Woo! We are now at a collective 1,000 horsepower.
For just a shade over 10 grand.
I'm very, very pleased with that. So next up, we're going to be modifying these cars. So stay tuned for that. If you want to see where we bought sports cars, you can see that here. We'll see you next week.